Give me a minute. Just this morning, today's Tuesday, the 3rd of December, Major General Kirillo Budanov, head of the Ukrainian Military Intelligence Directorate, told us where he thinks Russia is getting the men to send to Syria. They're pulling the Africa Corps. Now, if you haven't heard of the Africa Corps, or if you're having flashbacks to Rommel, which you can be forgiven for, the Africa Corps is Wagner in Africa. Wagner has a presence, the former Wagner group that was run by Yevgeny Prigozhin, who was executed in most spectacular fashion when his plane came down in a fireball over the Tver region after his failed attempt at a coup in Russia, right? The Wagner group is who they're sending. Now, what does this mean? Well, let's see. Russia pulled an estimated 20,000 Wagnerites, or Africa Corps, out of Africa to go to Kursk. They pulled an unknown number of soldiery and equipment out of Syria to go to Kursk. What's left to begin with has been readily overwhelmed by rebel forces. And it is said that the Syrian army is in disarray. Russian generals are trying to restore order right now in the fighting around Hama. And the reality is that this action in Syria, which I didn't see coming, right? It wasn't on my bingo card, Syria. Kirillo Budanov saw the Ukrainian GUR forces of the GIMME group have been in Syria, embedded with these rebels, training them on tactics, training them on lessons learned from fighting the Russians in Ukraine, training them on drones for at least 6 months. At least 6 months. And the only reason they were able to take advantage of this time and place is because of what Putin's done. He pulled men and equipment out of there to feed into the meat grinder in Ukraine. Then he starts a war, a proxy war between Hamas and Israel to distract the world from Ukraine. But Israel goes in and decimates Hezbollah, a principal supporter of the Assad regime. Assad is propped up by Hezbollah, Tehran, and Moscow. And they're all gone now because Putin's a master strategist, is what it is. So now he can't pull guys out of Ukraine. He can't pull guys out of inside because the security situation inside Russia is rapidly deteriorating, with the price of butter up 60%, with the price of potatoes up 73%. People are unhappy. So he pulls them from Africa. These guys in Africa are the only thing that are keeping the governments he's installed in Mali and Burkina Faso and 2 other places. They're the only ones keeping those governments propped up. What's going to happen if he pulls enough guys out of Africa to meet the challenge in Syria? Africa's going to be next. Africa's going to be next. We are watching the sun set on Russian influence in the world. We are watching a brittle, fragile Russian Federation tear itself apart at the seams. That's where we're at today, Tuesday, December the 3rd, 2024, date 1014 of Vladimir Putin's war of aggression against the people of Ukraine. Big shout out to Weibo, who's the sponsor of this video. Weibo joined the Patreon at the C-Babies level or higher, and so I give him a personal shout out every month. And my personal thanks, because I could not keep doing this without the Patreon folks. If you'd like a video shout out, if you'd like to help ensure that I can stay in Ukraine and bring the latest news from on the ground here, then please consider joining the Patreon. Thanks so much.